Afternoon. My name is Tiambe Barnes, and I am doing the Sustaining Families. Let's connect the dots. In the midst of COVID-19, a lot has changed. A lot of things, resources, they are still available. So I want to talk to you a few minutes about one thing in particular. Carmen asked me to talk about is childcare, because one of the things we know that families need childcare to work. We need access to those things, and Alabama does have, I'm not sure where everyone is from or where we have people calling or on the call from, but one of the things is if you're in Alabama, there is child care services available. One of the things is that you have to go through child care management agency. You can go through a child care management agency to apply, and you can find that on DHR's website, child care, and it'll lead you to the child care management agency in your area. And what that does is it provides you free or subsidized child care in order to help you offset the cost of child care. And you can also check with your local Head Start. And sometimes people are like, well, the Head Start, I don't qualify for that, but Head Start has a variety of programs. They have center-based programs, and they also have some home-based programs where children are taught by degree teachers. Many of their teachers have bachelor's degrees and associate's degrees in early childhood development. And again, that program is low cost or it is free. And then if you need help with after school care, there are a lot of resources for that as well. The Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club charges like a club fee, maybe $25. In addition to that, your local YMCAs all have after school programs, and they also have preschool programs. Ask for a scholarship. Don't be afraid to ask for a scholarship. They have them, and a lot of times they do not get used, and you want to try early, especially if although we're at home right now, COVID-19, but we don't know how long this is going to last. So what I would encourage you to do is to contact all of those agencies now, and put in your application now so that when things shift, you will be able to have it, and they're still doing appointments and things like that. Also about SNAP, a lot of people are like, well, I don't qualify for SNAP right now in the midst of COVID-19. A lot of people are they're giving out food stamps, not just giving them out, but people are qualifying more. SNAP, which is food stamps, and also WIC. Please apply. All of these things are on the DHR website, or if you're not in Alabama, on your DFACS, Department of Children and Families. These are resources. Don't be afraid to use those resources. They provide emergency ones because we're understanding, and people are understanding that we are in the midst of a crisis and people need help. Also, your local food banks, try 211. There's some that are even that are bringing them to you. They are making sure that they have that, as well as if you have elders, make sure you sign them up for Meals on Wheels, because those are programs that are available. They're making sure that they give them 2 weeks of food at a time. Someone can pick it up. They can be shelf stable, or they can be frozen meals, but these are some of the things that are available in terms of food and childcare access like that. So another thing I want to point out is that I talked about in my description is there is a need, there's a high case and rise of domestic and sexual violence right now. And people are thinking because we're in the midst of a crisis or pandemic, the services are not available. They are available. If you are in need of counseling, if you may be a survivor or experiencing any type of abuse, sexual or domestic or child abuse, there are services available. An advocate will call you, or you can call them a crisis line, and they will work with you. A website you can go to that lists the rape crisis center in your area is acar.org. That's the Alabama Coalition Against Rape, and it is a free service. It's private and it's confidential. So if you just need someone to talk to, something's going on, or you just want to share, or you need to get some thoughts, some advice, or just overwhelmed, someone on the crisis line will talk to you. Are there any questions? Carmen? Is there anything that I need to go back over? Any concerns about any of the services in a specific area? But this is a time, though, a lot of people think, well, you know, I don't want to do this, or I'm ashamed, or I don't want to. Let's not worry about that, because right now we all need help. This is a time where we're coming together, and we need to get these things and have them in place, so that if when the world does open back up, or we don't know when jobs will come back available, we'll have the resources that we need to be able to make it through. In terms of also utility bills, community action is a program that's located in all areas of the state as well. They will provide assistance with for utility bills. I think they pay the light bill in the springtime, or it may be the winter, and then in the winter months they pay gas bill. And so you can only access it once maybe every 6 months or something like that. But it is a resource. And so we have a question about Head Start and childcare. So if you have a child and you need childcare, to be able to access subsidized, low cost, or free childcare at a childcare center, you need to contact your childcare management agency. I'm going to pull this up right here. Ariel, where are you from? And I can point it out to you. But your local child care management agency is the place where you can go and find and apply for a child care subsidy. Tell them you want to apply for child care subsidy. You don't have to go through DHR to do that. It is simply a matter of filling out, and it may be a waiting list, but it may be a waiting list in some areas. In some areas, it is not, because children are transitioning into school. But you go to your child care management agency, and let me see here. Oh, yes. And even right now, there are some child care programs that are open. And when I talked about Head Start, there's something called the Family Child Care Partnership. And they're based out of Auburn at Auburn University, Family Child Care Partnership. Based out of Auburn University, and they have a grant that they do, family childcare. And family childcare is childcare that is based in someone's home, and it has been inspected and licensed by the Department of Human Resources, and also the health department, the fire department, and a couple of other departments. But they offer free or low cost childcare, and they have a grant through Head Start. So you can either go to a Head Start center, which is sometimes you apply through your community action or whichever agency runs the Head Start in that area. But Family Child Care Partnership is a home-based child care program that has free or low-cost child care for parents, as well as if you go through the Department of Human Resources and find your child care management agency, that will help you qualify for a child care subsidy. And the subsidy will allow you to send your child to a center or a family child care, which one of your choice. Let me think also. Yeah. Those are some of the options. And right now, if you're an essential worker or you're having a hard time finding childcare, many of the family child care programs are open right now. They are, because they only have like 6 children. They only care for 6 children or less, and they are ages 5 and under. And so many of them are still operating at this time. Are there any other questions or thoughts? I'm trying to share my screen so we can. This right here, the Family Child Care Partnership at Auburn University. This is what they. Hello?
Yeah, I think the broadcast stopped. Hold on.
Oh, I had got into
it. Go back, share your screen, and I'm a broadcast it back out.
I was in it, man.
Yeah, that's okay. Pull your screen back up.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, here we go.
All right. We back in business. Yay. Okay. We currently have 85 providers that are licensed and close to 200 providers who are actively enrolled. Enrollment is going. That just talks about the people. But they have a list of, you can contact them and they have a list of child care programs in your area. And that way you can find out a child care program, because like I said, they are accredited and licensed through that program, and they provide many opportunities for children and families. I also would like to point out that it's a good, if someone who's looking for a program to become an entrepreneur, it is also a good program, because the program provides educational scholarships and things like that, and opportunities for people to become accredited and things like that to gain income. So it does have its benefits. And when we talk about the child care management agency, let's see. Why don't we have what we need? Child care. Are we seeing this? Are we seeing the screen again still? Okay, application window. There we go. This page right here. Come on.
Hey, hold on. Every time you share your screen, it turns the broadcast off.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm in trying to be great. Okay.
So I don't know.
You want me to not share it?
I think we're up. We're up. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Sorry about that, you all. So here is the child care subsidy. When I kept telling you about the subsidy right here, here it is right here. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about if you want to get access, and it tells you what you need. DHR is a good, helpful website. And here are the child care management agencies. Here are the child care management agencies statewide. And it shows you your area where you need to go, and it's highlighted like this is Family Guidance Center, and this is another program. You just click on where you need to go, and someone should be able to talk to you because they are working. And I talked about the sexual assault services, and if you have any questions, here it is right here, where you can find out information about sexual assault, ending sexual assault, or wait a minute, the wrong one's not sharing. And here is information about sexual assault. And there, just like the child care management agencies, there are rape crisis centers across the state. And it does not have to be something that's happening now. If you're being triggered right now from being at home or something like that, or feeling alone, there are resources, there are crisis management people who are available to speak to you. So back to me. All right, are there any other questions, thoughts, or concerns? Any questions? Do I need to reiterate anything? Head Start in Alabama. Carmen, are there any questions, other questions? So I'm going to pull up the Early Head Start and the Head Start program because this is important. I want to show you where people can, yeah. Let me share this one time right here. This site right here shares with you like about Head Start in Alabama, and it talks about all the things they do. You find a Head Start classroom, what you need to do, how you need to apply. You can give them a call and just tell them what you need, what you're looking for. All of these things work hand in hand to ensure that families have what they need. And I encourage you, like I said, when the world opens back up, make sure you have applied for these programs because you want to make sure that you have access to them because they may be available. I'm pretty sure there's some available right now, but we also want to make sure that in the future, if you need some as well, you can have it. You can get access to it too. Any questions? Hello.
Hey, can you see me?
Hey, thank you for coming on. Were there any more questions?
Well, people didn't seem to have any questions, but
Okay.
so far right now. But there, through some conversation, there were some questions that people were really concerned, particularly people in that who were having to take care of children and parents. They were particularly concerned about what resources were available. Or, obviously, you can't take anybody anywhere at the moment. But I know a lot of people are struggling with being apart from their parents during this time.
Yeah, that is definitely a hard one. That is definitely a hard one. Well, now one of the child care facilities are some of these child care facilities are still open. The ones that are family child care that are based in the home, they're still open. They only care for 6 children or less, but they are still available if people are in need of services. So, and in terms of
no, go ahead.
And in terms of visiting families, you know, a lot of times the practicing the social distance. My aunt, she is recovering from she's a survivor of cancer. And so she stood in the door and we talked in the door and I was in the car. So we kind of had to mix and mingle. Yeah.
So Ariel has a question about rent freezes.
Ooh.
So that's a hot topic. And I know, well, in the CARES Act, if your mortgage was backed by a federal agency, or you had an FHA backed mortgage or something of that sort, there was some relief written into that for you. But on local levels, it's really up to the landlords. I think here in Jefferson County and Birmingham, Alabama, the sheriff's department just has refused to execute evictions.
That's a good thing.
So that's just not something that the sheriff is planning to do. whether that can hold up against the state attorney general, I don't know. But jurisdictions, that has been the pushback that the mayors and the sheriffs have just directed their, or mostly the sheriffs, because usually city police officers don't get involved in evictions. But the sheriffs have just said they're not going to do it. And obviously that varies from jurisdiction to jurisdiction.
Well, that's a really good question, Carmen. But I will say that also people need to know the tenant landlord rights, because it's a process.
Yes.
It's not something that, oh, I missed my rent today, you're going to throw me out tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. So let me look up that book right quick while we're talking, but it's a tenant landlord rights, Alabama, laws, Alabama. There is a handbook about that. And even if if people are having issues and they're harassing them, they can't harass you or anything like that. And if I send you the link, will you put it in there for people, Carmen?
I mean, yeah, but yeah. Or you can put it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna share my screen again. I'm glad you said that. Chrome tab. There we go. This book right here, the Alabama Tenants Handbook, it talks about all those things. When we talk about people being evicted and stuff like that, you need to be able to know your rights. What's the law about moving, what the law says about evictions and things like that. They can't just, throw you out on the street. There's a process and somewhat of a court order, and you may have to go to court, but read this. Read this. Only the court can make you leave. The landlord can't change the locks to make you leave. They can't shut off your utilities. They can't put your things on the street if you've been there in 2 weeks. Only the sheriff can do that. If the landlord wants you to leave, she has to send you an eviction notice. All these kind of things. So please read this, because you got time and you got rights.
You got time and you got rights.
So yeah, I put it in the thing, and if you can share it with folks. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. And also just talk to your landlord. If you are able to rent directly from a person,
mm-hmm.
talk to them. Hopefully they're not over leveraged financially and they can offer you some respite on the rent.
Mm-hmm.
What we've seen is that a lot of people were just speculating in the real estate market. People would go out and lease multiple apartments with the intention of Airbnb-ing them, and now they're stuck in these leases and they don't and they know more Airbnb. People who purchase homes to rent them out to use it as income property. Well, if you can't cover your regular household bills plus the
mm-hmm.
cost of that income property, then you really can't tell your tenant not to pay your rent. But if your tenant don't have rent, then you can't meet your mortgage, and then you have to foreclose. But that's also, that's a financial position that you can choose not to be in. As my mama told me, she said, if you get your roommate, don't sign up for rent that you can't pay by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, if you do rent from someone that is an individual, I would say definitely, talk to them, human being to human being, and see what can be worked out. But also be attuned to exploitation. Like, don't we're not trading favors for rent, y'all.
That has been a big thing. We've heard the crisis. That's been a big thing. And there are national articles about that. People are bartering sex for rent in exchange for rent. No, if that's your business that you do that, but know that you don't have to do that. That's all that you don't have to do that, because you have rights, and no one should be to barter goods and services for sex. That's a crime. We don't want that to happen. But I was gonna say, if you have a mortgage, You exhaust your resources, and not exhaust your options in terms of you may need to refinance during this time. Anything that could delay your payment for a little while, put them on the back end or something like that. But and if you have extra money, pay a little bit. Make sure you not pay it to the principal. Identify what it's for, a payment or something. Not just send it in extra. Oh, I paid extra or something like that. But work with your companies and stuff like that. But know that people do not have to barter sex or anything for rent because you have rights. And if that does happen, you can file a complaint. That's a sexual harassment complaint. And you can call the Rape Crisis Centers and they can help you with that as well. An advocate can help you with that as well to file that complaint.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any other questions that we need to cover or things that we need to cover within social services? I know we've talked about food. We've talked about shelter to a certain extent, about rent freezes, mortgage freezes. I think there was a case in Atlanta where someone impersoned a sheriff's deputy and evicted a family from a hotel. So that was so you have those hotels that are extended stay situations. So that happens. So watch out for the scams.
There's a lot of them.
This is a very vulnerable time for a lot of people. So you have to just be mindful of that there are people who are out here to take advantage of you and everyone else. So make sure that, when you are dealing with somebody or somebody on Instagram telling you how to get you free rent or whatever, like we have to have the spirit of discernment. So you don't get yourself in worse situation, even more precarious situation than you were before you started. So that's very, very important. Seek out the resources within your jurisdiction. It's vary across the United States. In the South, we tend to be more property rights, landlord rights. In other parts of so depending on where you are, definitely seek out resources as it relates to what your rights are as a tenant or as a landlord, and resources to help. I'm trying to think of, are there any organizations everybody's really, really focused on small businesses right now, hoping that will trickle up. So there haven't been a lot of resources out there for, landlords,
independent landlords
to offer, independent landlords to offer reprieve to their tenants. Not yet, but there are plenty of nonprofits, churches, fraternals, organizations, sororities. There are plenty of organizations who can help or shift your money, right? So like, instead of using your money for groceries, go get free groceries from the food bank. Go get you some utility assistance from your community action agency, and then use that money that you did not spend to pay towards your rent. So if you're in a situation, we're definitely going to have to get creative about how to use the money that you do have and the resources that are out there to bridge this until either we're able to, because it's going to be a while, but at least until social services catch up and is able to really stand in the gap for people.
I would like to also add, a lot of people are not taking advantage of the meals that the schools are providing for the children. Please take care. Please access those meals, even because they're giving them free to all children. I was seeing the other day that they brought it by in the school bus because our school district is a little bit further out. And so they brought it by, and this one man, he brought his kids to the stop, and they gave them 2 gallons of milk and a box of food, and it included sandwiches, snacks, and everything to cover them for a whole week. And I was like, that is amazing. Imagine how much money somebody is saving for just getting that food. But I also heard some people say, we don't get that, we don't need that. Well, we don't know what we don't need right now sometimes. And like you said, it could help us, you know, because the kids are eating, they snacking, we snacking, everybody's snacking. If a gallon of milk is $5, so that's $5 we might be able to save and put somewhere. It's small right now, but it can grow. Another resource that I want to talk about, that I not talk about but mention, is legal services. Your legal services of Alabama, or legal services of whatever you are, where you live. Legal services, they are designed to help people. They can't really give you a whole lot of advice, but they can help guide you. Alabama Appleseed and legal services. Try legal services first. So if you have any questions about something, call them. Like if something's happening, they can do their best to help you with legal issues.
Yes. Definitely seek out all those resources. All right, y'all, we have come to end time. Are there any more questions or comments that the people have around social services and what's available to help people in this time? Anything that we didn't cover?
I'm trying to
think we hit all the big stuff. Yeah. Housing is still open. Yeah. All that stuff is, all these things are still open.
And I know someone's coming on to talk about healthcare now, but I think that there are areas that are having, you're talking about healthcare? Oh, okay. So telehealth. Yeah, never mind. I won't say that.
Yes, telehealth. We'll talk about telehealth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And some stores, so price gouging. I see. Shanara. So price gouging is illegal.
It is.
In all 50 states, if I'm not mistaken. And there are some attorneys generals and or district attorneys do have hotlines for you to report price gouging. So if you do, particularly in our low income neighborhoods, in our home hoods, as I like to call them, places where we come from, stop in these corner stores, stop in these gas stations, report the price gouging.
$23 for $23.99 for 5 dozen eggs. Yeah, that's too much. That's too much.
Yes, report the price gouging. So these things can be dealt with, because it is obviously very detrimental, particularly to those of us who are most vulnerable financially. So we definitely want to make sure that you know that price gouging is illegal. Now, and there's a difference between a markup and price gouging. Like you know what price gouging, like you don't miss. I know, like in some of the corner stores, there's a markup for some of the products. It's not going to be as cheap as Walmart, but like you said, we talked about $30. She said a bag of chicken wings for $30. We know chicken is cheap. No. So definitely, if you see it, report it.
Take a picture of it.
Yes, take a picture of it, report it, stay safe. Like, because I don't want y'all to go out there and get beat up by the storekeep while you're trying to report them for price gouging. But and definitely, if you can, deliberately do it in our neighborhoods where we come from, and neighborhoods where people are vulnerable, so we can give them some relief, particularly food deserts where folks aren't able to get fresh fruits and vegetables. Is my screen messing up?
Yeah, but while you're working on it, let me say something. Because this is social service. Our elders, there is a voucher for the elders to receive fruits and vegetables. That's on DHR's website too, or SNAP or USDA or something. But you Google elder food vouchers. But let me say something about, there's still opportunity to receive fresh fruits and vegetables. Our farmers markets, they're open. Remember, they are independent people. The farmers market have everything you need locally. One of our local farmers is doing no contact. You order what you need, pay over the phone, and pick up at the farmers market. I was like, oh my God, how beautiful is that? So check in with your local farmers, because we don't want any food to go to waste. And it's cheaper. It's cheaper than in the store. You can get a lot of everything you need. It's fresher and it's cheaper. Give them an opportunity. And if like eggs, a lot of people like, I don't know about them eggs in the store, but
you better get them freckled eggs for the farmers market.
Yes, call your farmers market or your local farmers. You know, if they got some hens, buy those eggs. Buy those. They got plenty of them. They last long and they taste better. They make your cakes taste better too. So just a tidbit about that, because that's why I always eat fresh eggs. Yeah. So get your eggs and everything. Some of them might be blue, but those are fresh eggs. They fresh off the farm. So yeah, and a lot of us have gotten away from that because it's easy to go in Winn-Dixie and get 89-cent eggs, but you may pay $3 for a dozen, but that's better than paying 5 and 6 in the store. So just utilize that and utilize your local farmers market and stuff like that, or because many people, they're still growing. They got large farms and things, and they need the money just like we do. So
yes, and you got time to cook now. You know, most people, you got time to cook. You can actually cut your squash up. You ain't got to go to Publix and buy it already cut up with time in the ready to steam bag.
Sweet potatoes, everything. You'll be amazed. And also, like, you know, your syrup and your jellies and stuff like that. They got all of that. I get my honey fresh from the market. Tastes so much better. So much better.
I agree. I agree. Well, all right, Miss Tiambe, I really, really appreciate you. Well, thank you.
Thank y'all for the opportunity to be on here today. And if you have any questions, are you going to share our information with everybody?
Yeah, I can. You want me to put your email address in there, or
sure
which one you want me to send?
You sure can.
Okay, well, I will put your email address in there.
And my number, you put 334.
Like your cell phone?
I'm gonna give you my number, okay? 334.
Okay.
300 3111.
334.
300.
300.
3111.
3111.
That's my business phone.
Okay.
See? Call me. I mean, I'm open. If there's anything, if I need to be able to connect. I know I went a little fast. Y'all know I'm nervous. So, but just anything social service wise, there are a lot of resources out there. And if there's something I did not cover, we just want to have a conversation, you can give my number to somebody. It's fine with me. I'm open. I don't mind talking, because it may be something that we may have didn't think about at that time, but we can also connect you to some other people. Okay.
LaShawna, what state are you in? Are you here in Alabama or somewhere else?
What she say?
I'm waiting.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. Okay, I think it's according to her Facebook page. I believe she lives in Alabama. LaShawna, I'll actually put this on her Facebook page too. So definitely get into the Tenants Bill of Rights. That the link I just put in the chat. I sent it to you on Facebook as well. And also contact the legal services organizations. Information are also in that book to see what's going on, because they, like I said, you know, people will take advantage of your ignorance and take advantage of their own. Because folks like to think they know what they're supposed to do, and so they just start doing stuff because they want to feel powerful. But that's a session for another time. But definitely want to make sure that you and all of your neighbors know what your rights are as it relates to being a tenant. So I will
Fair Housing.
Yes.
I'm sorry to over talk you. Alabama Fair Housing, Central Alabama Fair Housing, or Fair Housing. There are several organizations of Fair Housing. I was looking it up online. Fair Housing. I know there's one in Mobile. There's one of course, there's one in Birmingham. Mobile, Montgomery. I know there are there are several agencies across the state. Fair housing. Fair housing can offer resources as well. See, when we start talking.
Yes.
When we start talking, let me tell you what fair housing does. Because I know some folks that work there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what they do is help enforce fair housing laws and educate individuals on fair housing. Yeah. So they're back up to So fair housing. I don't know the name of it in Mobile, but there is one. There's one in Montgomery, Birmingham, and they can also help you find it if you're in a rural or remote area too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, all right, guys, we have reached our time. We thank y'all very, very much. Come back at the top of the hour. I'll be rejoining you to talk about my healthcare journey as an entrepreneur and some of the resources that I have used and some resources that you may want to use. It'll be conversational. So have those fingers ready to type and talk back to me. And we will see you at the top of the hour. Thank you again, T. It's always great to have you.
Thank you. All right, y'all. Take care.